Revamp your financial plan. We're running a little bit late, so we're going to get straight into it. We have an amazing group of speakers who are going to be sharing with us. Thank you so much for everyone who's joining. Our first speaker. In fact, we have even branded her. Her name is Joy Zenz, but we know her as Joy Awe because she is a leader of African women in Europe. 4,000 women who are thinking about investing in Africa, who are thinking about changing the way that we look at Africa. And I want you, Joy, not to take even one more second. I want you to start once more, give your background a little bit, and then begin to give us that information that is going to shift the way that we think. This is the kind of global conversation that we want to have. As we said here at Centonomy, going digital has made us a global company. When you're training people from the US to Europe to East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, Asia, Australia, as I was saying earlier on, the only continent we are yet to get to is South America, and it is a language barrier. That's the only thing, and we will be learning Portuguese and Latin so that we can be able to share down in South America. Joy, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about African women in Europe and how we can begin to think about revamping our financial plan moving forward. Go ahead, Joy.
Thank you so much. I need to put a timer here because I can also talk quite a lot.
That's okay. If it's too much, I will stop you. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Okay. So thank you again for inviting me here, and I appreciate it very much. And I can see that, as you said, you branded me Joy Awe, and I don't come from Nigeria. My full names are Joy Wanjiru. Very proud Kenyan, and living in Germany with a family of 2 boys, lovely 2 boys, 18 and 14, and yes, and I'm a very proud African woman. And as you know, if you leave the country, because I came here through marriage, we are talking about 20 years now down the line. So I came when I was a very energetic woman, wanting to grow into dynamics, and the sky was the limit, and it has never stopped. And my theory is that it doesn't matter where you are, the geographical, you can achieve whatever you can. And as I mentioned that my background, my father is a Reverend Samuel Machogo from PCA. So we kept moving every 5 years. And I think I've got 8 primary schools and high school. Thanks God it was boarding. So I went to Kangubiri Girls High School for 4 years and finished my diploma in Kenya Polytechnic, which is now I think a university. And so yes, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And yes, some of you who have been seeing AWE, what is AWE? So AWE is a full abbreviation of African Women in Europe. And the idea behind it was from me wanting to connect with other women doing great work and also seeing what are they doing, what are my opportunities here in Europe. But today's topic is the one I want to focus more on, how to identify opportunity to create wealth, and especially this time of COVID-19. And as you all know at the moment is that here in Europe, compared to the African government, the government had been supporting quite a lot. Right, they actually took up the steps very early, and we noticed that the markets were really suppressed, especially the entrepreneurs. They were sending money. There was not so much questioning. The government opened the opportunities, and people who were losing jobs, they were supported. Families were supported, and this is already on itself. Being COVID-19, it is already an opportunity to create wealth. Because some of us have saved a lot of money because we are not driving anymore. Someone like me, I would drive 2 hours, and can imagine my insurance will also look very good later on, and the petrol and the servicing of the cars. So I saved quite a lot of money in that direction, and so are so many people. And working from home, of course, you incur a lot of maybe the energy bills because the electricity will be much more. But the computer don't take that much, right? But there's so many things everyone who went through COVID-19 noticed that they saved money. So that's already creating wealth. And also the other opportunity I have to say that the markets have opened borders, okay? What I mean by this is that some of us have lost jobs during COVID-19, as here in Europe, as well, in everywhere in the world. And now when you go to the internet, you'll be surprised. They're telling you they don't care wherever you are, you can apply for the job. So if you're in the career sectors, you can get a job anywhere in the world. And they are specifically writing working from home, online. So the borders have been opened also for the community back in Kenya. Right now you can apply a job here in Germany and you work from home. It has been existing, but the thing is that now it's even more so. The companies are embracing the idea. So already that's creating wealth in employment, because if you lost a job, you're gonna create more money in that direction. So those are the first part that I could see the profit of the COVID-19 that has done at this moment, where you can use that money that you saved and start investing in another sector. And now when I go to the investing, so let's talk about the banks in the Europe. The Europe banks, the interest, I think it's -2, -1, I don't know. It's saying that you cannot earn anything from any cash money you put in the account, right? So most of us have noticed that, of course, now you can get credit at very low interest to almost zero. The other day I was trying to buy something on the supermarket. They're selling new stuff because money has to move. The economy is about money movement. Money has to flow. So they are all the time trying to make the money that you're trying to save to spend on it. I was trying to buy a computer. My son is doing apprenticeship in aviation, and we needed this specific computer, which was costing us a hell of money. And the person said, you don't worry, you can pay slowly, but no interest. I said, wow, that's a good opportunity, but I didn't take that one. I don't like loans. So I said, no, let's deal with this. So there are so many opportunities that are coming up in the money that you get at the end of the year, and you start investing. And my opportunity right now, as I say, the interest rate is very low. It's somewhere in Kenya. I'm sorry, I'm already in those markets like crazy. Even the Europe market, they're all running to invest in Africa. And I tell you, it's a big thing at the moment. So why are we diaspora not doing that? First of all, lack of knowledge. We know things like shares is a big word that people don't understand, or treasure bonds, or those things used to be on the very secretive. So I'm happy that the internet is enlightening us. I watch a lot of programs in Kenya. YouTube has given us the opportunity to see what happens. Centonomy is one of you guys. I love you guys because I was hunting for you for years, and because I wanted to do your course. And your course was always offline. And I was like, you guys, come up. The world is moving fast.
I'm so sorry, Joy.
I know.
Sorry, but now we're there. You're
there. I love that. And that's why these opportunities came up. I was running to apply and I said, you know what? And I'm the kind of woman, I don't want to go alone. So I want to bring my women with me. So I went and looked for contact, and I went to my women diaspora. Come on, we have to do this together. And let's get a good package and do with these people. And we're getting there. These are opportunities I'm talking about. They're in the continent. Right now, the borders are open. So it doesn't, online, there is no geographical region. So it's anything open, you can take advantage. So investing in Africa, there are quite companies that are giving out 11% interest, which are really like a dream for any European. There is no interest rate there. So keeping money in your accounts right now is not a good idea in Europe. And I think actually also in the US and other countries as well. So that's something else that we need to also build wealth, create wealth from the wealth that we save. So the other part that I also want to really emphasize on is the mindset. Our mindset. We have to change the way we think and the way we used to do things. Things are not going to go back to the way it was in January. No way. Things are not going to be the same, and you have to rethink. You have to be innovative. And I'm happy that our organization actually happened everything online since 13 years. And you can imagine how we started. It was word of mouth. It was so slow to start. And right now, there's a group where I saw you, I hunted for you when you're doing the presentation in the African Leading Ladies. It's very new. It's like 3 months, and that platform has over 300,000 people. And I was like, Joy, you worked for 13 years, you know, but it's a time to take those advantages and connect globally. And the mindset is so, so important. And I want to also say this because for the diaspora and the Kenyan people, you need to also work together. I have a feeling that the African market doesn't want to accept the diaspora, and the Kenyan especially, in the attitudes. We have to change the way we think. I am here to work with you, to partner with you. Don't look at me, oh, you went to Europe to do this and this, that. That doesn't work anymore. We have partnership. We are ready to collaborate with all the other. Open your doors for us when we knock them, because we have the skills and the knowledge of what is happening here. We can share with you, and as much we can also learn from you. You have so much we can know what is happening. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. We are not bringing the Europe thing to the Africa. We're just using the small creative ideas that can connect one into an existing entrepreneur companies that are existing. So mindset have to change for both sides to be able to go to that direction. And of course, the trainings, you can also invest and create wealth through trainings. So I have to say, I started taking a course. During COVID-19, they have really great, very cheap. You can invest in your own yourself by learning a new skills. And this is where we are heading to when you're bringing your mindset. They're going to digitalization. Some of us have never seen a computer. I've talked about the diaspora side. The Kenyan side, you are so advanced. I'm so excited with the technology. It shakes up the whole world, actually. So it's something that you should also embrace and spread it all over here in Europe. And even here, we are suffering like the schools, the children don't have computer, not because they don't have the money, but the mindset, you know, yes. It's not there. So you're there to give, you should be the one giving trainings to our people down here, like opening a computer, doing Word, Excel. I'm talking of the basic, right? So, and you can train yourself online, and that's why you see a lot of online courses. That's another way of creating wealth with the skills and the knowledge that you have. You can do online. As I said, the markets are open globally. That's why you see Centonomy puts up a lesson, and we are already there in terms of we can just join. Look at here, everybody can join from anywhere in the world. And so are the training. That's another way of creating wealth, opening your mindset and thinking beyond your level. So I don't know how far I am with my time.
You have 5 minutes, Joy, so that we can wrap up. 5 minutes. So
yeah. So I want to take away those few points that I really emphasized on. At the markets have opened the borders. So that's very important for you. For jobs, if you're looking to create wealth and to identify where opportunities are, that's the area to look at. And then look at the government support. If, for example, the diaspora, we have so much insurances. I don't know how much insurance we have. Unbelievable. Some things you don't know what you're paying for. Go to your account, check at it, and look what are you paying every other. You might find yourself saving a lot of wealth that you might be paying double of the same thing, like I also know and realize. And also the other part is that you might also be checking on your where you spend your money as well. So it's so important in that, and the borders are opening. So, and the other part is that, as I said, the government is supporting. The interest rates are very low. You can remortgage your credits if you have taken any and get yourself into the right position. And then investing in Africa, in Kenya, if you're Kenyans, come with us. We actually, as I mentioned, we have a circle that is starting, which is my favorite project that we registered recently. And I hope the government can open up the borders for the diaspora, because diaspora have so much. You people, you have, I love the country like Ghana. Ghana even have somebody in the government supporting diaspora, and the institution has made itself easier. I don't see how Kenya can give a foreign country like Germany to come and invest in a country with zero interest. And I am a Kenyan coming to invest and paying interest. I mean, paying also these taxes, and the taxes are also double. Don't forget, I'm already taxed here before I send the money there to invest. This is something we diaspora, we're also campaigning a lot. We need to open up the borders, just like they're opening borders for the others, and trapping that it's really, really a very big wealth, also where we can also create our own self-worth and also which bring money back home, because our money comes back to the continent and the schools are continuing and things like that. And then the biggest one of all, which is the mindset. The mindset is so, so important. So my message for you, for my dear Kenyans, is that so you need to start thinking global. That's my message for the community back in. You need to think global, and I love Centonomy is leading on this and using all the technology tools that are there. I had a lovely meeting yesterday with your team and in another different aspect, and I shared quite a lot of tools that you could also use. Think global. And think digital, which you already are, but in more in the global sector, and make Africa products for Africa, not for Europe. Make
Look
Africa
at the local market.
Yeah, I know the market is there. You know what you need. You can sell to Uganda. You see right now your products are also in Uganda, Tanzania. These things should move around the continent. Let's grow the continent. Yeah, so that's my key message, those two messages.
Joy, you bring your name to everything. You're such a wonderful person. I really enjoyed your talk. I loved the experience that you have brought, that idea of opening borders, thinking global, and I hope everyone is paying attention. I'm so excited as I look on Facebook, Joy. We've even got brothers and sisters tuning in from all around the world. Just let us know actually where it is that you're joining us from, like Nyarai. That's Nyarai Kaukau. I hope I've said it correctly, from Zimbabwe. She has joined us all the way from Zimbabwe. So this is truly a global discussion that we're having. So thank you so much, Joy, for your perspective on this. We really appreciate it. One quick question, maybe you can add a little bit more. I know somebody asked here on Facebook, and they're just saying, let me just try and get the name. I'll get it for you just in a second, but they were asking, how is it, other than digital, how is it that the borders are opening? I know there's a lot of lockdown, but how are you thinking differently? Is there any other way other than digital that the borders are opening?
I will talk about here because I live actually in an area where I actually work in Switzerland, and I have this phrase I keep saying, but I live in a village. So I live in Germany and I work in Switzerland, yeah. and I go shopping in France. Okay, so it's really at the border. So when the COVID-19 happened, all the borders were actually closed.
Yes.
So everything is online. I don't see anything happen. Even like China, they could not even send anything over with their product.
That's right.
And and it's gonna easier because of the corona. Because I work in a department where I was very well informed, because the COVID-19 on any item, if you're trading, it stays on it for a long time, especially in the high peak country, and especially the problem was coming here in Europe, coming to you guys, right? And so yes, everything right now, I have to tell you, is going digital.
So Joy, I really appreciate that. I'll give you a couple of other examples, ladies and gentlemen. We have, thank you, Florence Githuku, who's online on Facebook, who's saying, Joy, even in Kenya, diaspora is supported through the Department of Diaspora Affairs in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, guided through the diaspora guidelines. So you can actually look through that and begin to speak about this as well.
Yeah, also, they can reach to me because I really want to know all that.
Wonderful. And then we are also going to find out that, for instance, in manufacturing right now in East Africa, what has happened is due to the lack of the ability to import products, Kenya has become a net exporter of, for instance, personal protective equipment for medics. So because there was that lack of import, so those are the kind of examples that I would look at. So thank you so much, Joy. I really appreciate your word of encouragement. And to everybody who's joining us, we've got Juliet from Kigali in Rwanda. We've got Daphne in Uganda, Sheila also in Uganda. We've got quite a few Ugandans with us as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Akinyi from Nairobi, Kenya. This is a global discussion. Joy, you are a joy to have. Joy Zens, who is the head of African Women in Europe, and we'll be having you much more on this discussion point. So we'll move quickly to our next speaker for today. I'm really excited to invite Barbra to come and speak, because Barbra is alumni of Centonomy, but she is a wonderful and amazing woman in her own right. Barbra, are you on? I want to make sure that you're there as I introduce you A lady not only beautiful on the outside, but also beautiful in spirit as well. She brings joy as well, just like joy to every room. And we've enjoyed having her as part of the Centonomy family now. Let me tell you a little bit about Barbra. Barbra is also a certified financial educator and instructor. She's a founder of Penny Masters Limited in Uganda. Please, you need to look for her on YouTube. She's a content creator and she is a part of the Centonomy family. Just to let you know, even as Barbra gets back on, as I said, Centonomy is now gone global, and we are beginning to see that shift in the way that people are thinking about themselves, thinking about how they can be able to build and to grow. We run a program called Centonomy 101. As always, how are you doing?
I am fine, Mr. Waithaka. How are you?
Mzuri sana.
I am so excited to be part of the conversation.
Thank you. And I was just telling people, yes, we can see you clearly. Thank you so much. I was just telling people about Centonomy 101, which I know you're an alumni of, where we cover all these 12 modules that you can see on the screen. We talk about personal money management, time value of money, which is how you plan for your money, debt management, living abundantly, which is now the mindset issue, which Joy spoke about shortly a few minutes ago. We now go deep into investments. And I know you remember this, Barbra, where you're now dealing not just with Waithaka, but you're talking with industry experts in the various areas of investment. And then you leave with a five-year financial plan. So I was just saying, this is the time to get involved around the world, wherever you are, the opportunity is now. I wanted to tell people that. But Barbra, you're an educator yourself. I want to hear more from you. How can we revamp our financial plan? Tell us more.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Waithaka, and thank you everyone who has tuned in from all over the continent, all over the whole world, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. I'm so shocked that we have people from the Philippines. That's amazing.
Don't be shocked. So you'll be surprised where they're calling from.
I know. It's so interesting. It's really, really amazing. Well, like Mr. Waithaka has said, I don't want to go back to introducing myself. I think he has already done the introduction. My name is Barbra Kyobutungi, proudly Ugandan and proudly alumnus of Centonomy Limited Kenya. That's something, a program that I took under Centonomy that was so amazing, so enriching. Honestly, I think even all these things I'm doing with finance, with the YouTube that you're talking about, Centonomy has so much to do with it. I am a YouTube content creator, specifically talking about personal financial management and personal growth, because I have a passion for teaching personal financial management. So anyway, and thank you so much, Mr. Waithaka, again for inviting me to contribute to today's conversation about revamping your financial plan. And in my honest opinion, I think it's such a perfect timing for us to be having that conversation. What do I mean? We all know that we tend to make financial plans, not even just financial plans, any other plans when the year begins, okay? When the year sets in, that's when people get there, write all those goals, the plans, including plans to deal with our finances. And as we are aware, we are halfway through the year, right? We're in July, almost actually, halfway through the year. And what a better time for us to be having this conversation. What a better time for us to be reviewing or doing a mid-year performance appraisal, I would like to call it that way, on our finances, seeing how far have we come from, and how far are we going, especially during this time that we're facing a pandemic that no one has ever seen, no one planned for, and the pandemic has come with so many unexpected changes that have either directly or indirectly affected our finances. So that's why I said it is such a perfect timing for us to be talking about financial plans, to be talking about adjusting our financial plans. So how do we revamp our financial plans? I think that's our topic for today. Now, first is by assessing your current finances. And I think that's what I'm going to really focus on during this webinar. For you to even have anything to do with your financial plan or to see how to adjust it or even make a financial plan, you have to first assess your finances. You have to know your financial situation. I also feel like you cannot make an action plan for your future without first having to assess where you are currently. You need to first know where you are currently for you to assess or see the situation or plan for your next step of action. So, and to me, assessing your finances is really like checking for your financial health. That is how I like to look at it. You're basically trying to see how your financial health is doing. You're trying to see how, if you're sick, if I may use those words, you're trying to see what medicine to take, what supplements to take as far as your financial health is concerned. Same way, you wouldn't know what you're suffering from. You wouldn't know what medicine to take without having to go to the doctor first. Him examining you and telling you, hey, maybe you have malaria and you need to take some, I don't know, medication for malaria, but it's the same thing with your financial health. You need to do an examination on your finances for you to know what problem it is that you have. So having said that, and I would like this conversation to be, I like you guys to participate. I just don't want to talk and then you listen. So my first question is going to be, how many of you are in charge of your financial health? How many of you actually know what you're suffering from or know what medicine to take or supplements to take? And when I talk about supplements or medicine, I'm basically talking about you knowing what financial habits you need to change in order to improve your financial health. Or maybe your financial health is actually okay and it just needs supplements. So what are those financial habits you need to enhance? Please do let us know in the comment section, wherever you're tuning in from. If it's Facebook Live, if it's the webinar, Zoom, please let us know in the comment section. If you're in charge of your financial health, please let us know. If you know...
I'm sorry, Barbara, you're asking us, where are we in charge of our own financial health at the moment? Do we know our health status financially?
Exactly.
People should be able to type in the chat box on Zoom and in the comments in Facebook. I'm looking for, do you know your financial health? As I get them, I'll let you know. Go ahead.
Okay. And also please let us know if you know that your financial health, in case it's bad, please let us know if you actually are aware of the medicine you need. For example, maybe you're overspending and you know, oh, Barbara, you need to stop overspending. Please do let us know. And in case you can't answer that question genuinely, don't worry, it's okay. Because that takes us to our meat of our conversation, if I should call it that way, which is the how. You don't know your financial health, so how am I supposed to know my financial health? How do I assess my finances? Okay, so number one is you need to know your net worth. Your net worth has a lot to say about your finances. It has a lot to say about your financial situation, okay? Your net worth basically is just the difference between your assets and your liabilities. And be very sure not to mix those two things. From Centonomy, I learned that you can actually mix up those two things. You can mix up assets and you can actually call liabilities assets. We were taught that things like a house that you live in sometimes is not an asset. People think it's an asset. Sometimes it might actually be a liability if it's taking money away from you in terms of bills you need to, to pay to renovate it, to maintain it, etc. So anyways, what you need to do is have an asset column and a liabilities column. An asset really, these are things of value that you have, okay? And liabilities are things that you owe. So your assets column should have things like your property, the value of your property, things like your shares, things like your emergency fund. This is something that Centonomy talks about. It's something I've also talked about in my YouTube videos, an emergency fund. Things like your savings, those are things that fall under your assets column. Things like your pension fund, your treasury bills, treasury bonds, etc. Those are assets. And on your liabilities column, you should have things like your balance on your mortgage, balance on your credit card. You should have things like your debts, any debts you have. You should even have things like your overdue bills. Okay, maybe these are bills that you haven't paid for and maybe you pay after 2 months or 1 month. Write them, utility bills, telephone, water, electricity, etc. Okay, so the difference between those things, get your total assets, subtract from your total liabilities, that will be your net worth. And essentially, For any good or great financial health, your net worth should be positive. If you have a negative net worth, then it means you actually need some medication. But don't you worry, once you get that negative, the good news is that you're now aware of the situation, that you need to change, and it means that there's something you need to do to improve your financial health. I remember when we did this exercise at Centonomy, I was so shocked. My financial health was bad. It was bad. And the funny part, I didn't even know. Like, I honestly didn't. I thought I was doing so well until I did that assessment. So go on, do that assessment. You will really find out how your financial situation is doing. Number 2 is knowing where your money is going. Where is your money going? In simple terms, are you tracking your expenses, people? Are you tracking your expenses? Mr. Waithaka is sharing. Good. Are you tracking your expenses? This is something that Centonomy will tell you, I think, in the first 2
minutes.
2 minutes. These are things that it will tell you. And this is something I have sung on my YouTube videos over and over again. Why? Because I know it is so important. Honestly, I feel that is like one of the primary things you should do in order to be in charge of your money. Okay, I think it's like one of the first steps you should take. Know where every cent is going, know where every cent is coming from. Okay, and initially it will be tiring. Actually, when they told us tracking expenses, I was like, no, how in the world am I going to track every money I spend? Is that even possible? Let me tell you, it is very possible. It is very possible. And the truth is, as you get along, it becomes easier, it becomes interesting, and it is so rewarding. Guys, it is so rewarding for you to actually know where your every money is going. You're in charge. Like, I was able to direct my money where I want it to go, only where I want it to go. That power, it is so rewarding. It is worth every effort you put in tracking your expenses. The other thing, the beauty with tracking expenses, you will be so shocked at where you spend your money. I can assure you, it will be the things you spend so much of your money on, you will least expect them. Let me tell you, when I tracked my expenses, I will give you an example of myself. I realized I was spending so much money on treats. I'm a person who will go to a supermarket with a shopping list. It will either be in my phone or at least in my notebook. But I wasn't the person who stuck to the shopping list. I went with it, I think for formality, I don't even know, but I always picked, those sugary things like cakes. I have a sweet tooth. Cakes.
And they're always placed near, where at the counter. When you're sitting there waiting and you just look, they're strategically placed just for you.
And it would be so worse if you go shopping and when you're so hungry. Honestly, I would buy twice the things I needed. And most of those things were never on my shopping list. Things that I would actually reach home and I end up giving out maybe to my sisters or the maid, because I am so full. I've bought so much that I can't even finish. Okay. And I could not believe my sweet tooth that was doing that to me. I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe myself generally. So guys, I can assure you, track your expenses. You will be in charge of your finances, and hence you will know how to adjust your financial plan. You will know. And even if you don't have a financial plan, you will know how to write one. And when you track your expenses, please have a budget, because I feel like tracking your expenses and a budget are two peas in a pod. A budget will guide you, will sort of help you stick to the lane, to the right, correct path of managing your finances. Have a budget that you try to stick to. Okay, and I know sometimes it's very hard. I know maybe one day you'll forget, especially when you're beginning, you'll forget to track your expenses. It's fine. What matters is consistency. When you remember, please do write everything. Consistency is what matters. We're not looking for perfection, for you being perfect. We're looking for consistency. With time, perfection will come in. Okay. Number 3, look at your savings as you're assessing your finances. I feel like you wouldn't be assessing your finances if you didn't look at your savings. And I'm going to ask a question again. How much of your income do you save? Please write in the comment section. Sorry, I keep looking here because I have a laptop.
That's
so
all right.
how much of your income do you save? Please write in the comment section. What percentage? Okay. And maybe you might not know, but what income? Okay, that's fine. How much of your percentage do you save? What percentage of your income do you save? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 2? Is it nothing? Or are you the person who spends all your income before you even receive it? And that is true. I know that people who spend their income before it even comes. And what that means, I would only have 2 reasons for that. It's either that you're living beyond your means, or you're not managing your finances properly. It is as simple as that. I know financial experts recommend people saving between 10 to 20% of your income after tax. But then we all know our financial situations are different. Okay, we know my financial situation is not the same as Mr. Waithaka's situation. What I would recommend is for you to at least save something. If you genuinely know that you can only afford to save 2%, save the 2% and then work slowly to upgrade to the recommended minimum percentage. 2% is better than nothing, but that is if you're honest that actually that is the only money you can afford. Yeah. You might say 2% and then actually you can afford 20% and you're just lying to yourself. And when it comes to assessing your finances, guys, one thing I forgot to tell you, see the way you have those media performance appraisals with your supervisors, those media performance appraisals or even performance appraisals at all with your maybe boss, supervisor, whatever, manager, HR manager, it's the same thing you should be doing with your finances. You know, in those appraisals, we keep it real. If you've not performed well, we keep it real, okay? That's the same thing that you should do with your finances. Get a piece of paper. Actually, don't get a piece of paper, get a pen and a book, because you might lose that piece of paper. Get a book, get a pen, and write down that assessment. Be true to yourself. Write everything I'm telling you. And when you're making the assessment, be true to yourself, be genuine, be honest. Okay, so anyway, Mr. Waithaka, I hope people are typing in how much they save.
Yes, we've gotten a few, around 10%, 30%, 20% I've seen, others saying none. So there are people saying that there's no savings at all.
Okay, that's okay. If you're not saying anything, it's still okay. That is why we're even having this conversation. So that after here, you have that honest conversation with yourself and say, hey, Barbara, or whatever your name is, it's time to make some adjustments, okay? And even under savings, you should look at things like an emergency fund, because an emergency fund is like some sort of savings, really, because it's money you put aside to bail you out in terms of emergencies. For example, when you maybe get into a car accident and you don't have insurance, or your insurance can't cover all the bills, okay? Things like your hospital bills, things like you losing a job. And we know during the pandemic, we know people have lost jobs, guys. We know people have lost jobs. People have had to have, their checks cut into half, even a quarter. So that is where an emergency fund comes in to help you. And an emergency fund also falls under savings. So as you're doing assessment of your savings, look at all those different accounts you might have under savings. Number 4 is look at your debts. When you're assessing your finances, look at debts, okay? And when it comes to debts, and this assessment, I know it's something that you might fear, because sometimes it's not all good news. I know people trying to get into debts, and debts are, the beginning of, your downfall when it comes to your finances. But it also depends on what kind of debts you're taking. So write those debts down. Write all the debts you owe people, including their interests. Even that money you borrowed from your friend or from your relative, even if it doesn't have interest, write it down. Write it down. And as you're writing them down, try to understand why you took those debts. Did you take the debts to actually keep up with certain people or a certain lifestyle? Did you take the debts to actually invest? Because we all know there are good debts and bad debts. Okay, so when you write the debts, you'll be able to understand why you took the debts and how often you're taking the debts. If you're taking the debts almost like I don't even know, that means that's an indicator that you need to change something when it comes to your finances. And there is no way you'll know that unless if you're assessing your finances, okay? So lastly, I think something I can talk about is your income, because we've dwelled so much on the outflow of your cash. So now let's look at the inflow. You need to look at your income. Okay, your income will look, when you're looking at your income, seek to find out if your income actually can cover your lifestyle, that kind of lifestyle you're living, if it can cover for your financial plans or goals. Look at that, seek to find out. And if it doesn't, then it means that maybe it's high time you started getting other sources of income. Okay, it means that maybe you need to cut back on the way you're living in order to fit in your income if you can't get other sources of income. Okay, it is one way to assess your financial situation or your financial health, if I may say. So just look at your income, and I don't even want to dwell so much on the extra sources of income, because I know my other facilitator will talk about it. So, but it's something that someone should pay attention to, is because honestly, I think that if you want to have a good lifestyle, you can't rely just on one salary, especially on one income, especially your salary. Okay, and honestly, I think, like I said, when you are making this assessment, to be true to yourself, have a meeting. That is what I like to say. Have a meeting with yourself. You're the CEO of your money. Have a meeting and say, no, Barbra, you did not perform well here. Barbra, you need to improve this. Barbra, you need to cut down on your expenses. You're spending so much on some maybe luxurious things that can be, that we can't afford now. Maybe we might do in the future, but not now. Okay, we need to look for extra sources of income. You're taking on too much debt and you need to stop. This is a meeting with yourself. Just like I said, how you have those performance appraisals or performance assessments with your supervisors. This is you are your own CEO, and you need to have those assessments. Please be genuine, be true. No one will be judging you apart from yourself. Don't judge yourself, just be honest with yourself. And don't even feel guilty about anything. The guilt should only motivate you, but it should not put you down. It should motivate you to say, you know what, okay, this is too much. I'm done with this madness. I think I need to get myself up and be in charge of my finances. And of course, once you follow all these steps we talked about, then you will definitely assess your financial health. You will know your financial situation, and you'll be able to make adjustments where necessary when it comes to your financial plan. And if you don't have a financial plan, then definitely you will make a financial plan from an informed point of view, because these are facts that you will have made through your assessment. And remember, all these things that I talked about are things that Centonomy will teach you in detail. These are things that Centonomy advocates for. Okay, so just to summarize what I said, I talked about 5 points on how to assess your finances. That is your savings. Look at your savings. Look at your income. How much income is coming in, and if it's actually catering for your financial plans or goals and your lifestyle. Look at the debt, your debt levels. Look at your net worth. Your net worth is important. And of course, track your expenses. Mr. Waithaka, I think that's all I had. I don't know if I've used up all my time.
You have done it perfectly. In fact, I was just like, this lady is so disciplined with her time. I really appreciate that. And as you can see, you've covered exactly what we do at Centonomy.
Yeah.
I don't want to add anything else. As we said, we start off with those principles. We go into understanding now how you grow your money over time, how you manage debt, how you plan for the future. And it's exactly the same thing. It's very methodical, step by step, how the 101 program takes you through those modules as we go forward, and then get into the investment space as well. We also get into how to protect your money. And as you said, Barbra, you said it beautifully, you must have a plan. Without a plan, you're going in no direction. And you're trying to give yourself that kind of job description. I was a bit worried on trying to pronounce your second name, but you have done it so beautifully. I'm going to try. Barbra Kyobutungi. Did I say it correctly?
Yes.
I've tried. And everyone is just really giving you some thumbs up. They're wondering, how do we find you on your, where's your YouTube channel? So we can find you.
What is it called? My YouTube channel is Barbra Kyobutungi. Just my name's Barbra Kyobutungi. Kyobutungi is Kyobutungi. And I focus really on personal financial management and personal growth.
I love it. And anytime we see the work of Centonomy moving across borders, we love it. We're continuing to grow in East Africa, West Africa, around the world because of people like you. Barbra, that was amazing. So I'm really grateful for your time. I know that it was not easy for you to put all that together in such a short moment, but I'm just so grateful for that. Barbra, we're moving swiftly along, and I'm just so grateful for our next speaker as well, because we have to get real perspective along the way. We have to get a good balanced perspective on how we're going to revamp our financial plan. So our next speaker is Amani Shayo. He's a project manager at Empower Limited Tanzania. I told you we're having this as a truly global perspective on this. Amani, he is an aspiring consultant in human capital enthusiast, currently working at Empowered Limited, a dynamic human capital consulting firm specializing in talent acquisition, learning, personal development, strategic insight, and youth projects. He is passionate about people, innovation, and strategic thinking. Amani has a significant experience supporting various impactful projects at Empower, from setup, planning, and designing of tools to use. Amani, are you in the house? I'm just looking to make sure that I'm not speaking to myself. Let's just make sure that we are there. Amani, I can see you. Just switch on your microphone so that we can be able to have that discussion as we go. And I can hear my children. In case you hear children around here, this is the thing about working from home. Please excuse them as we go. Amani, hi, you there?
Hey, Waitaka. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Isn't this a time for strategic thinking?
Definitely. And you know, the fun part is learning. I was here from the beginning, and I was telling my friends that being part of this panel sometimes is also about getting a lot. So I really learned so much. Thank you very much for organizing such a platform.
Let me tell you something, Amani. This is, you know, I'm looking at the comments, and I really appreciate everyone who's watching on Facebook, everyone who's with us on Zoom as well. There's a lady called Susan Joba. She was saying, you know, with this whole financial health, I wish there was a miracle cure. She's looking for the miracle cure. We shall try and lay hands upon her, but the truth is this. It's the work, isn't it? And I'm sure you're going to give us some of your insights. Please go ahead.
Nice. Thank you very much, Waitaka. I really appreciate this. And as I can say again, I would like to air out my sincere appreciation to all the previous speakers. I learned so much personally. I'm still struggling with my personal finance. So as you can see, this is definitely the miracle that we are looking for. So if that person is looking for one, definitely by the time we finish here, we have all these blessings and the tools to use. So as you introduced, my name is Amani Shayo. I'm currently in Tanzania working with Empower. It's a human capital firm, but also I'm an ISEC alumni. And I think this is something I would like to mention because that gave me an opportunity to visit Kenya 4 times. And I have a couple of friends in Kenya. I missed you guys. I know you're still in the COVID era. And fortunately, unfortunately, we are somehow managed to take care of the situation here. So business is as usual in Tanzania. And also
shots fired. I feel like you're attacking your East African brothers and sisters.
Not really. I'm just sharing the experience here. So you will get there. Okay, good. So just to air out my experience also, as we said, work a lot with young people. I think I'm also quite young also. I'm 27 right now, and I've been privileged enough to start working with young people at the very early stage of my career. So both in ISEC and also right now working with a human capital firm, focusing entirely on training and advisory. But also I'm a member of that Global Shapers. So this is a group of young people that come together and trying to come up with initiatives to support our city. Throughout this experience, I think the topic of financial literacy, especially for young people, has been very, very crucial. And I will really give it a call at the very beginning when I thought we need this in Tanzania right away. Unfortunately, I didn't see my Tanzanian friends. I hope they're in this room. Please, if you're here, I would really love to know who is here because we really need it right now. So just building up from the previous speakers, I wouldn't want to talk much because a lot have been said already. And my topic is basically looking at how exactly we can use our skills and to build wealth or to generate income. And when I was given this topic, I was like, okay, I think it's the perfect time, because I was struggling with that also. So I'll share a personal experience and then I'll move forward. So I have never sold a phone, anything. I've never sold anything. So, and I don't have any tangible skill. I remember, like I don't know graphics. I cannot make videos. I cannot do anything in a very tangible, like this is a skill I have, and to give you money, I give you a service. But throughout this pandemic or the COVID, I think one thing that I've realized, I had a goal. I wanted to make 200K a month. This was the beginning of the year. And while I was trying, I said 2020, I'll try to make numerical goals now. I wanted to have a side business that will make 200,000 Tanzanian shillings, which is like $100 or less. And I was focusing entirely on already businesses that operate, like owning a motorcycle that will take people around and then give me money. But I look at myself and I realize I don't have experience. I have never done that. I've never engaged in any sort of that business. But when I was trying to self-evaluate, I've realized I've had experience making money using my passion, and just things like I'm very good at making people have fun. And it can sound very silly, but I'm very good at making people have fun. This can come from anything, making them play a game, making them do something. But I'm very good at that. And I've been doing that over and over again. And also, I'm somehow good in writing and good in giving advice, whether or not I've been in that situation or not. But through the line of work in advisory service, I've found that I engage with a lot of young people, giving them advice of what they should do in either their businesses or in their personal affairs. And I've realized, well, this is exactly it. I don't have to own a motorcycle. I can actually focus on what I do best and what I love and start putting value in it. So when I ask somebody to pay, they're actually willing to do that. And I think I want my session to start from there, because it was an enlightenment moment for me. When we talk about skills and try to turn our skills to commercialize our skills, I think most of the times, especially in Africa or in East Africa, we focus entirely on the tangible aspect. We focus entirely on the hard skills, which we sometimes call them freelancers. These are the guys with cameras moving around. These are the guys who have the ability to design something. These are the guys who have ability to put something together. But right now, I think I found a video on YouTube that said, we are living in an era where there's so much talent. So many things are considered as talent. So if you go on YouTube, if you write how to, there's someone that can teach you how to sleep, how to eat, there are so many how-tos right now. And I was like, okay, this is it, especially during this COVID or the pandemic, where everyone is looking for something to do. So how about more people become aware of the things that they're passionate about? And my first and the foremost point on exactly how to go about using our skills, we as young people, because we are the generation that we expected to disrupt the economy, to disrupt the ways things are done. I think it all starts with awareness. And this is my biggest lesson during the pandemic, as being aware of what are those skills. And because once you are aware, you start to be conscious, and you start by looking ways to nurture them. So awareness can come from many things. Awareness can come from looking deep down and see what is it that you normally find yourself happy and you enjoy doing it. Or what is it that you are reliable, or most of the people will come and ask you advice on that area. And it can even be a hobby. And this is something that I think it's a misconception, where we look at this as we need to be expert at something, but it can be a hobby. I've seen, there was recently a very good trending video just started on TikTok, where I think we even got it in Tanzania, but that's a hobby where, generating content, and somehow it went viral. And if you put money on that, you start looking at it in a completely different perspective. So I think awareness is assessing ourselves and understanding what are the skills that we have. Good luck if you have the tangible skill or the practical skills that you can use, but also looking at our hobbies, looking at our passion. You can be passionate about things that you might find them very silly, like doing exercise, but actually there's someone out there who is willing to put money and for you to actually deliver that value. So awareness will allow us to nurture them and invest in them, because even an expert was once a beginner. So at some point, we all need to start from somewhere. And that somewhere is actually being aware before having the tools, before meet with people like Waitaka and give you all the ABCs and exactly how to package it. You personally, it's a homework for everyone to go back home and start looking at your routine and what is it that you do best. It can even be you manage your own social media account in a very good way. It's always up to date. It's always very neat and clean. Maybe that can be a business. You can do it for someone else. It can even be as you love food and you love going out to restaurants. It can start from how about creating like a tour where people start going for places that you normally go and eat for food. So I think I wanted to start from there about pushing everyone, especially the young people, so as to start looking at yourself and be aware, because it all starts from there. And a skill or a passion or an interest or a hobby, anything and everything, once we are aware, then we can start knowing the value. Because I think people pay for value, and the value that we bring forward, that is what now will help us to generate the income that we're talking about or the wealth. And to clear out the misconception about us being experts and leave the elder generation, because they've done it all, for them to start using their skills to generate income. We can always start here, we can always start now and start making the small steps. So it might be an easy process or it might be a hard process, but there's always support. I truly believe by talking to people, there's so many resources out there that can help us do a self-introspection and look exactly what is the journey. I think one of the things that I've used personally, there's something called the element, which basically asks you these questions of what do you do often and you find yourself enjoying doing it? And what is it that you think you can put money around it? And what is it that you think it has impact? It came from a book. I read this book, but that just that page. And I did personally, and I thought like, okay, I cannot sell phones, but what I can do, I can make people happy and I can put value in it. And I started doing things like Kahoot. It's an online platform, but people put games, ask them to engage. And yes, it can be from a house party, but once there's value, they're willing to spend some things on it. So that's something. And then nothing will happen by coincidence. You really need to do the homework. So let's assume now you are aware and you have found your niche. You know, this is the hobby that I have and I want to focus on it. I want to actually start packaging. What separates us and the rest, the people that call themselves the experts, I truly believe is not the what, but it's about the how. Because at some point you can have someone who started taking pictures even today, but they're very good at what they're doing in a way that and how they deliver it, their behaviors, the practice, and the alignment that they have with their own personal values. So I think also coming from the training side, where we engage most of the even corporate companies or international organizations, we realize it's not about having the tools. You might be aware that you're a good photographer. It's not about having a camera, but it's about how will you go about and start telling people that I can actually do this job. I can actually deliver at the very best standard. How can you maintain your professionalism? So I think the second stage after you being aware is now how can you invest in yourself and start looking at what is the value that you're offering? Because the value is not the picture. The value is actually how you take the brief, how you actually appear, if it's an event, how you actually appear in that event, how do you communicate, how do you help them solve their own problems, because that is what they're paying for and not the final product. So I think this comes a lot with a lot of soft skills, improving on all these things that, like it can be communication 101. How can we communicate? How can we tell people that this is my brand? How can you handle your communication in a way that builds credibility, builds trust? And this is platforms like this. When you come here, you start learning on simple things from this is how you present yourself. This is how you're able to do the packaging. This is how you're able to send your pro forma. This is how you're able to use this tool. So improving ourselves on that aspect. Yes, we have the technical skills, but can we add value by investing heavily on how to deliver this? And I think when we look about delivering that, we should also look about customers to be also the people in our cycle, because most cases we think of a business supposed to be entirely on needs to offer that service to an organization or a company. But right now, especially during this COVID, even the people in our cycle, they are potential customers. Example, a lot of people are struggling with nutrition, and it's not a rocket science for you to know what you need to eat, what you don't need to eat, and create someone a nutrition plan. You can learn. It's something that you have access to. And there's someone out there that is struggling currently with nutrition. You don't need to consult an organization for this. So it's a matter of how you can engage that person and convince them that you can actually be their number one stop when they need advice on nutrition. And if you're very good at it, you can go all the way from coming up with their meal plan to actually managing their exercise. And it can all be done even virtually, because this is what COVID has brought us, all the possibilities now, everything is possible. So let us start thinking on our cycle as the potential customers, because with that, it will give us an edge to start. And when I started looking at how can I make people have fun, I didn't look at it as I need to sell to big organizations or corporate clients for them to bring their people. I started looking like, okay, this COVID, people will probably lose their sanity. Everybody need to feel happy. And how about having some trivia game? And they started with the WhatsApp group. It's as simple as that. Yes, at the first incidents, they didn't pay, but later, when you start putting so much value in it.
That's how it always is, Amani. When you're starting anything, people are not willing to pay. But yes, when you're proof of concept, they are ready to join in. So we have about 5 minutes. Let's finish up now.
Nice. So another thing now on the how-to is start with your own network, and also looking at your network as the number one potential customers before looking at the bigger picture of you need to offer those skills to an organization. I think number 2 is leveraging on platforms. And this is something that, especially during this COVID, platforms can mean different things. There are so many platforms out there. Unfortunately, we are trying to we're trying to close the gap. Other people in other markets, they're quite very far looking at the platform that they have. But I think for us, the first speaker said, African solutions for African problems. It's not necessarily it's not always that you need a website for you to start promoting your products. Right now, you can even start from your WhatsApp status and just say, hey guys, I am good, I'm a trainer. Your morning hours, I can create a WhatsApp group and they can actually teach you how to do push-ups. And I'm giving these examples not because they're easy to do, but I want us to be as practical as possible and to start thinking from the minute issues, because that is where the magic starts. So leveraging on platforms, and platforms can mean anything: WhatsApp group, Twitter, Instagram, and everything. And I think this is also like to echo with what is happening now. Kenya, I think they're doing a lot of work in translation, writing, and a lot of people now using these platforms to offer their skills to write something for other people, to translate things for other people, and they're making money, you see? The last thing is, once you go through all this, the end goal is to improve our finance. So it's not about, yes, I have fun, yes, I do this. I think I'd like to connect it back. No matter how small we'll be making, we shouldn't forget that if we cannot save with 10K, then when we get 100K, the problem is still the same. So the issue is go back, invest again, invest in the tools that you're using, invest in the learning so that you can be able to increase the value, because from there, then it will be quite easy for you even to start mastering the art of, like saving and investing from the little that we have. So the areas where we can do it, it can be, I think we shouldn't think of bigger pictures. It can start from very, very simple issues that, social issues, like you're good at dancing. Definitely there's someone out there that wants to learn how to dance. You're good at writing. There's someone out there looking for a contract right now. So it's about building your own skills and invest in yourself and build the market, because they're not aware that it's possible. So yes, it's not going to be easy, and that is not the reason for you to stop doing. And I think especially now during this COVID, then it brings out with a lot of options. It brings out a lot of possibilities on what we can do and what channels we can use. So I think just very quickly, I think just to pass that through, if there'll be any question I'd like to take, but I believe I've shared some 2 cents, and looking forward to get back from you.
Amani, more than 2 cents. Amani, that was brilliant. In fact, people are asking, because you mentioned a certain book. Would you mind giving the title again of the book that you were talking about?
Yes, so the book is called The Element. Yes,
The Element,
so
and it's by?
Now the name, but I'll definitely put it on the chat here. I have the copy here. I'll put it on the chat. It's called The Element, and you can just get the script of that page. It's a very simple page that helps you to do that self-introspection.
Kindly do share that, but let me give you some of the perspectives, because I know it's hard to keep track of all the comments that are coming through. Joyce has just said, thank you, Amani, for bringing out the simple, practical aspect of improving your finance. This is Modupe Olotu, who is saying, turning your passion and skills into money. And she gave you a thumbs up for that. There's someone else here, Catherine Munga, who was saying, understanding your skills, including our hobbies, can make us invest in them. Wow, I like this. I love Amani. This is Brenda Mwangi said about self-evaluation and see if there's something that you can be able to generate. That's another one. Once you value people, they're willing to spend money on it. It's truly that. I think we've been talking about this, Amani, at Centonomy for some time, where we've been saying, don't come with an attitude of, how would I say, entitlement, but rather increase your value. And I loved that perspective. Coming from a young man like yourself, we really love it. Maybe you can give us just one other point, if you don't mind. How do you increase your value? Because I can see you around the area of value in human resource.
Yes.
How can you talk to young people about making themselves more valuable to potential employers? Because if you get a better job, you generally earn more, and that's more money to yourself. So how can you make yourself more valuable to potential employers?
Okay, thank you very much, Itaka, on that. I think this is something that we talk a lot. We talk a lot on the talent acquisition side of things. One thing we have to understand, employer and employee relationship is a two-way traffic. But what happens is most of the times we look at it as in one way. We look at it as we are the receiver. We, the young people, when we're looking for a job, is more or less that we're looking for who is there to give me something. But we don't have a conscious effort on asking ourselves, who is there to receive what I have? So I think it all starts from, what are you bringing on the table? Because we negotiate on, this is what I bring on the table, and prove value for that. So it's not about I'm looking for a job, but rather I have these skills, and if I come to your organization, this is what can happen. This is what will happen. So when you're able to communicate in that spectrum, it's easier for you to negotiate, not looking at money as salary, but looking at money as the equivalent to the service, to the skills and the experience that you're bringing on the table.
Oh, Amani, I am just so grateful. And you've spoken like a Centonomy alumni. I just wanted to let you know, Amani, we are now everywhere around the world. So even your friends and your brothers and sisters in Tanzania, please do join us. We are truly in that space where now everyone is able to join. We have had a few people joining us across the world, and so I'm really excited to have you with us this time around. I wanted to just show something here on the screen that will give you a little bit of a perspective on what you've been talking about and what we can do for you here at Centonomy. And this is especially during this period of the lockdown. We have a 20% discount on our programs, especially Centonomy 101. So you get a certificate at the end of the program. You develop a 5-year financial plan using the following. So we have financial templates, including a budget, a financial balance sheet. If you remember, that's what Barbra was talking about earlier on, a non-financial asset balance sheet. This is now what you have been talking about, Amani. Those skills and talents that are non-financial. I love that you talked about the fact that you can make people happy. That is a non-financial asset. And what you are doing, Amani, is turning a non-financial asset into a financial asset. Now you're using that skill, and we use this template of the non-financial balance sheet to actually give you that insight that will allow you to begin to benefit from it. We also help you, as Barbra was talking about, with a template for an emergency fund. We help you with an irregular expenses plan. So the Centonomy 101 program is holistic. We don't just tell you, it's not just discussions like this. They're practical tools that you'll be able to put down on your phone or on your computer and begin to use for growth. And for those who are dealing with debt, because I saw that in the comments, earlier on, as Barbra was speaking, some people were saying I'm in the ICU of debt. When she was talking about financial health, Barbra, I think you're still in the room. Barbra, are you still there? You can just switch on your microphone and your camera for a second. Barbra, Kyobutungi, are you there? If you can't, just switch on your mic. But there were some people responding to both of you, Amani and Barbra. Thank you. I can see Barbra there joining in. There was someone here saying, I'm in the ICU of debt. I don't know, Barbra, if you remember some of the things that we talked about in the Centonomy 101 program around debt. Maybe you can be able to just mention that as we close this out.
Okay, so when it comes to debt, really, like I'd said, you can hear me?
Yes, clearly, go ahead.
Okay, so with debts, first and foremost, you need to own them by writing them down. Write all the debts you have, write all the interests you have on those debts, and then sort of write a debt repayment plan. How are you going to pay them? Okay, are you going to begin with debts that have high interest? Okay, so are you going to begin with debts that maybe, some people might begin paying off debts that are smaller just as a way of motivation, because once you see one debt is knocked off, then you're excited and then you keep the debts. For example, if you're paying maybe what, like 100,000 Kenyan shillings, okay, maybe that's too much, 2,000 Kenyan shillings maybe per month, what you need to do is that if you finished paying your debt of 2,000, for example, maybe this month, next month, it means that 2,000 is back in your pockets. Why? Because that debt, you're done paying it. What you need to do is now shift that 2,000 to another debt. Okay, to paying another debt. And then when you keep doing that, finally your debts will be done. And like I said, be sure to not take on debts just to maybe keep up with the Joneses, like they say. Take debts for investment. There are bad debts and there are good debts. Bad debts will put you in financial problems. The good debts are debts that you take that will, grow. Maybe you borrow money to maybe invest in something and then get more money.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Barbra, as always, great insights. Amani, you are an inspiration to all the young men. I love listening to young men speaking because I don't think we are enough of us. I think the ladies have overtaken us a little bit in the communication space. And so I'm really excited to have a young man like yourself sharing. We've got one more speaker who's on the way, and I'm really, really excited at least that we're going to have another gentleman's perspective on this. This is my brother who I'm so excited that he has allowed himself to come and share here. He is a consummate professional. He is in the marketing space, the marketing manager at Absa Bank Kenya PLC, but an overall general good human being. He has challenged me many times to think differently around business. And I know that his perspective, especially from not only the corporate side, but also the investment space and also the side of personal finance, will be able to give us a huge, huge boost this morning. So Philbert, how are you doing, bro? Philbert, can you hear me? If you can, just, you need to
unmute.
There you go. There you go. Done.
Hi, Waithaka, how are you doing? I can hear you very clearly.
I was trying to muzzle you because you would now speak better than me. And sometimes
thank you very much for the thank you very much, Waithaka, for the opportunity to just be part of this conversation this morning. How are you doing at Centonomy?
We are great. We are great. As I was telling you, even for Amani, that now we have gone global. Everyone can be able to join in. You would be amazed the kind of classes that we're having, the discussions we are having, trying to understand interest rates in Australia and Japan while we're discussing other places in Burkina Faso, etc. And what I loved about Amani's presentation is he spoke about goals, that if you don't have something that you're aiming for, it becomes very difficult to actually plan and build. And I know that you're going to build on that discussion. So share your experience and what you think we as Africans around the world and anyone who's listening to this can begin to implement to revamp their personal financial plan.
All right. What a fantastic opportunity, Waithaka. I'm very grateful for Centonomy sharing this platform so that we can have this conversation. I will be giving a human aspect to what is happening around the globe at the moment before I can talk about some of the insights I have around financial management. And just to give things some perspective, I'm very happy that we have global audience, even as we do this conversation. And maybe just to give a global context, what is happening in the globe as regards to jobs, because these are huge contributors to the finances at individual capacity. From a global perspective, I was reading an article by the UN, and the International Labour Organization Director General Gay Ryder actually mentioned as at June that over 190 million people across the globe have lost their jobs. And if you look at one of the biggest economies in the world, which is America, 22 million people registered or filed for unemployment benefits, meaning that 22 million people have lost their jobs. Now, bringing it closer home to Kenya, before the pandemic hit, 4.9% of our population was unemployed, which is about 2.7 million Kenyans. Now, since the pandemic hit, we've had more than 1 million Kenyans lose their jobs. And these are people who are actually employers in their own rights. So that has a trickle effect, meaning that there could be people who have secondarily lost their jobs, either their house helps, maybe they support those individuals in different aspects, who could have also lost their jobs. So we're talking about staggering statistics of people who have lost income during this period. And in case you have experienced job loss, I know you're worried about your finances, you're worried about your healthcare, you're worried about your financial management and how to cope with your daily sense of security. And those are some of the things that I will talk about. Then I can give you some tips around how you can manage your financial management. So should you have been one of those people who have been affected by what is happening in the globe, how do you adjust during this period? And I think one of the ways is for you to be able to allow yourself to grieve. And I was reading an article that says that a job loss is actually like losing a loved one because it fundamentally introduces a lot of trauma and causes you to go through a moment of loss. You're going to lose a lifestyle, you're going to lose certain aspects of things that you used to do before when you had the income and you're not able to do them now. So it is important for you to allow yourself to go through that time and grieve. Then secondly, it is important for you to focus on what you can control. And you'll realize that you have no control over the pandemic and you have no control over your jobless situation at the moment. And I will be talking a little bit about what you can control in more detail when I talk about your financial aspect. And then the other thing is you have to keep hope alive because, you know, this is not the end of the world. It is very difficult and we have to acknowledge that you're going through a difficult time. And it is important for us to be able to acknowledge that aspect. And then you have to, it is important for you to maintain a daily routine. You know, if you just stay in your pajamas the whole day and just watch television, that is going to fundamentally impact the way you, even your psyche, your mental ability to be able to process things and opportunities around you. So I'd encourage you to wake up in the morning, dress up, you know, have that routine, dress up nicely, have some confidence, and focus on what it is that you can do on that day. The other aspect that I would encourage is have an exercise regime. I mean, research has proven that exercise is very important on your mental health, and it will help you. It produces a hormone called endorphin, which gives you feel-good hormones. It reduces the stress level. And so it is important that you wake up, you know, exercise, so that you can keep yourself energized. Then avoid self-destructive behaviors. You know, it is very important for you to default to some of the habits that can actually destroy you. Alcoholism, you know, just watching television the whole day, such things, you need to be cautious so that you don't get yourself into self-destructing habits. Instead, you need to take up a new hobby. And I think Amani Shayo gave a very good example there where he said you can turn your passion into profit. You can look at what it is that you're passionate about and how can you tap into such aspects of your life to be able to commercialize them. I was talking to a friend of mine recently who was a chef at Sarova, and he lost his job because of the pandemic. And what he told me is he doesn't buy bread because he bakes it in the house. And what he has done, he's actually tapped into the entire estate and he's supplying them with bread for the entire week, and he's actually making money. He's able to pay his rent. He's able to meet his expenses. So what is it that is in your hands? What is it that you are passionate about that you can do easily, that you can turn into an opportunity for you to make some income? And then lastly, focus on building future skills. Now, as jobs get lost, there are actually other new jobs that will come to bear. And recently we had a webinar at Absa where we were looking at innovation. And one of the speakers, who is called Lona Ruto, who is a social entrepreneur, I'll encourage you to check her out. She actually converts plastic waste into fencing poles to just help in conserving the environment and all that. And she said that when God closes a door, he actually opens a window for you to have a better view. So I don't know what is it that has closed in your life at this moment. It is actually probably an opportunity for you to look at other opportunities that are available for you to be able to redefine your life. Now, I'd mentioned that I'd focus on things that you can control, and I think I want to talk a little bit about the budget, because I think this is something that is right within your sphere, something that you can actually control during this period. And as we talk about the budget, it is very important if you're going through financial distress because you lost a job during this COVID period, for you to take a look at your finances, because that is something that you can be able to make adjustments on. One of the aspects that I would encourage you to do is, it is important for you to look at your debt portfolio, talk to your creditors immediately. If you're in a position that you're unable to repay your debts, it is important for you to give them notice. And if you are someone who is banked, I work for a bank, and I would tell you even the banks have actually been encouraging their customers to take payment holidays if you're unable to repay your loan during this period. So it is important for you to look at your creditors and give them notice if you're unable to meet your financial obligation at this time. The other aspect is you also need to look at your savings. If you are to stay without a job for a certain period of time, how long will your savings enable you to survive? And it would be unfortunate if you didn't have some savings. And I think that would be, I'll be talking to that in a few before I allow Edaka to talk about having a financial plan, because it is very important for you to have some savings so that you can be able to cushion yourself against the unexpected, like what we are going through at the moment. And the other one is adjust your budget. Look at things that you can do without. Is it possible for you to actually move houses, go to a cheaper house? Is it possible for you to consider wholesale shopping instead of going to the high-end stores? Is it possible for you to look for alternative ways of spending your money and cutting your costs significantly, so that you can be able to conserve cash of what you have, and it can be able to take you longer? Then the other aspect is do a self-evaluation, and know if you have skills that you can monetize them immediately. And Shayo has given a perfect example of that that I would want to reiterate. And I think Waithaka also mentioned, what are the non-financial assets that you have? And these are things that are within your control, that you can be able to see what you can be able to do with them. And lastly, stay informed about the resources that are out there that can help you to survive during this time. So, for instance, the government is giving support for those who have been affected by COVID-19. Don't be shy to go for that help. The other aspect is probably your church and other organizations are also giving help during this period. Don't be shy to go and ask for help if you need it. And then lastly, you have to develop a financial plan, and I will tell you why that is very important. You must have a financial plan, and this is going to help you in your future. So it will help you to save money to invest in for your future growth. It is going to help you to get ready for your important life milestones. You know, some of you are not married. I am married. I have one wife and I have 3 kids. I pay school fees, and so I have to think critically. How am I going to raise the school fees for my children? How am I going to keep my relationship with my spouse flourished? There has to be certain investments that you have to make on those spheres for you to be able to have an all-round life.
Amen.
And you also need to look at how it is going to help. If you have a financial plan, it's going to help you to manage certain financial changes. Look at what we're going through. I mean, coronavirus, nobody planned for this for this aspect. And I mean, it has affected all of us. Some of you have experienced salary cuts. Some of you have lost jobs. I mean, if you didn't have any financial backing, any financial plan, it means that you will be in distress, a lot of distress at this time, because you do not have a place to fall back. Then it will also help you to control your expenses and better increase your cash flows. Financial plan is very critical because it will also help you to reduce stress and give you peace of mind. It will also help you to manage your debt efficiencies. You will be able to look at who are the people that you owe and how are you going to repay those debts and by what time. It will help you to build an emergency fund. And I think Barbra Kyobutungi, if I mentioned the name well, mentioned that it is important for you to have an emergency fund. You know, this is the time. This is the time of the pandemic, is the time for you to trigger the utilization of your emergency fund if you are actually hit by the effects of COVID-19. Then the other one is financial plan is going to help you to have the right mix of your investment portfolios. You know, if you do not have a goal, you will not be able to select the appropriate investment for you to make because you won't know which one will be fitting for you. And Waithaka will tell you that if you want to conserve cash, then there is a specific investment vehicle that you need to consider. If you want to put your money for growth and you want to seriously multiply your income, then there is a specific investment vehicle that you want to consider. The other thing is it will help you to have freedom. Because in your determined timelines, because financial freedom is all about your planning. So Waithaka, back to you. I think you need to tell these people why they should sign up for Centonomy so that they can learn about financial planning. And I want to welcome any question. Yes. I think I've shared my tips on how we can be able to stay afloat even during this period of the pandemic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, look, when we have these discussions, Philbert, it's always so interesting to see the kind of responses that people bring. This is Webesa Lena, who is just saying the whole world needs to attend these conversations. And it's true because we realized it's these simple financial tools are the ones that make a difference in our lives. And you've been very practical. You should hear all the comments that are coming through. Jacinta on Facebook was saying that you make it very realistic by focusing on simple things that build a good base. Others are agreeing that you need to have a financial plan. That's a major part of it. But someone was just asking, I think I saw a comment here about if you're in the corporate space, how do you remain relevant and make sure that your job doesn't disappear with the rest of them? I'm not sure if you've seen that.
I think that's a very good question, Waithaka. And Amani Shayo mentioned that it is very important for those of us who are employed to begin to focus on building future skills. If you read the World Economic Forum documents on how the world of work is evolving, you will find a lot of insights on how on some of the skills that you need to build to keep yourself relevant. So if you are in the corporate space, I would encourage you to actually check out some of those skills. It is important for you, for example, to begin to know things like analytics. digital and digital marketing. There are specific skills that have been called out that are going to be on very high demand in the recent times, even as the world of work evolves. So if you're in the corporate world, there's a lot of skills that you can begin to build over and above what you have learned in your profession to strengthen your base as an employee, and also to prepare for the future of how work is evolving.
So someone here is asking, Philbert, if you don't mind, your personal experience, where are you investing your money to grow? Because they are saying, even in times like this, I'm sure someone like you is investing for growth. What are you doing as an example of where your money is growing?
Wow, that is very personal. And I think I went through Centonomy 101, and it taught me a lot about investments. I have since grown my investment portfolio, focusing on different aspects. I am investing in bonds, I'm investing in bids, I'm investing in shares. I'm also investing in a business. I run a business for supplying construction materials. And so if you are considering building a house soon, you can talk to me. I will be able to sort you out. Of course, I also have non-financial assets that I am monetizing. I am doing consultancy in marketing. I also do consultancy in personal branding. All those aspects are there that I utilize to be able to grow my investments.
I love it, Philbert. Let me just tell people a little bit, because we are almost out of time, about what we do here at Centonomy. It's, when we talk in this very practical terms, people are always surprised, and they wonder, can it truly be, are you guys being real or not? And I think we are being real, and we're being very specific on what we teach. It's so important for us to understand the full perspective of what's going on in the world. And so people are asking, what are you getting out of this? So we are very practical. We break it down bit by bit into understanding. This is the full program as it is, Centonomy 101, where we deal with the area of personal financial management, the tools, the mindset, and even now beginning to talk about those very specific tools that are used there. We talk about time value of money, because here's the thing, Philbert, and I don't know if you remember this. The question that everybody comes into the class with is, Waithaka, please tell us, if I go to the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which share should I buy? And remember, Philbert, from that discussion, that's the wrong question to ask.
That's the wrong question to ask.
The question to ask is, how does the stock market work, so that you are the one making the decisions on what you need to do? Because if I tell you which share to buy, you will have to come back to me next week to ask me again, which share should I buy? But when I empower you with the knowledge on how the market works, then you're able to grow. I love that people are asking which are the growth markets. Just look at the local securities exchanges across Africa. Foreigners, and when we talk about Europeans, Americans, they are bringing their money to Africa to grow, because this is one of the growth markets in the world. This is a market in which in Africa we are a growing population. There is growth in terms of industry, and so there's a lot of growth happening here. So that's where the money is being brought. So please kindly consider seriously investing in Africa, and that's what we talk about. So time value of money teaches you how to think about your investments and how they move forward. We talk about debt management and a plan around that, living abundantly, as we said, which is a mindset issue, and goal setting. Then we talk about the investment classes, and all the investment classes are taught by investment experts. These are people who have been doing this for many years. They are in it, and they are giving you real life experience, the kind of discussions that we are having now on what works. We talk about property, the stock exchange, treasury bills and bonds. What are they? How do they even work for me? When you talk about insurance, how to protect your money, estate planning, how to look at the future, taxes, and how to navigate that, and then put together a 5-year financial plan out of this. So when you look at it in total, you get a certificate of completion. You develop a 5-year financial plan using these templates, a budget that Philbert talked about, a balance sheet, which Barbra talked about, a non-financial asset balance sheet. Philbert, I remember in class having that discussion with you and saying, what skills do you have that could be used to be financial? And I can see you already putting that into practice. Yep. Putting together what we call an emergency fund, and a plan for that, an irregular expenses plan, a debt repayment plan, and then just using those tools like time value of money principles for growth, deep dive into the investments, the protection classes, implementation of your 5-year financial plan, all this at a reduced lockdown discount of 20% off, because we realize where people are in the world. Philbert, you did a wonderful exposition on what we need to look at as we grow. And after that, you joined the Centonomy Alumni, which is a wonderful network of people, of mindsets, like you can see, like Philbert here, like Barbra. Those are the kind of thought leaders that we are having in that group. So you can pay through M-Pesa or through the bank details, which we'll share later. The registration is only 1,500 shillings. $1 is about 100 shillings. So that's about $15. Am I right, Philbert, with my quick calculation there? About $15.
It will vary from financial institution to financial institution, but yeah, that is the average.
Just about, yeah.
That's
so you're talking about $15 to register, and then 3 easy installments every month of 12,000, 12,000, and 10,500. As I said, it's about 100 shillings to $1, so that's about $120 your first, $120 the second, and $105 on the third. So this is what we're talking about. We start on the first week of September. That's when the classes start, and you do only 1 class per week, either on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday evening East African time, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That's East African time, or on Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11:30 East African time. You pick one of those classes, because the whole week we train on the same topic. So if we're doing personal financial management, we'll do it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And the wonderful thing is, even if you have booked to be in the Wednesday class and something happens on Wednesday, you're able to come in on Thursday evening or even on Saturday. Or if you know there's a wedding or something happening on Saturday and you need to be out, you can say, can I please come in on the Tuesday class? And it works perfectly. As I said, there's a 20% discount off the fee. That's why we are 36K in terms of Kenya shillings. The details at the bottom there. Please email Maureen at centonomy.com, and the number is there as well. And she'll give you lots more details on how the program works. So I want to just clarify that once again, just to go back so that you understand. We pay it through installments over every month, a monthly payment of 12,000, 12,000, 10,500 with that registration fee, and you can register right now. The M-Pesa details are there, and if you're not able to pay through M-Pesa, just email Maureen at centonomy.com, and Maureen will give you all the details, even in the chat box down there. Especially on Facebook, you get all the details that are required for doing this. I want all our speakers to show up on the screen if you can. We would love to give you a big thumbs up. If everyone can just say thank you, thank you, thank you in the chat box. If there's something that was meaningful to you, this was an amazing panel. I am just so proud of each one of you, from Joy Zens, Amani, Shayo, Barbra, Kyobutungi, and we thank you also, my dear friend and my brother Philbert, Julai. As always, you guys are amazing. A parting shot, Joy, if you don't mind, something that you'd like to say? Oh, Joy, you need to unmute. Sorry, that's me. There you go. Okay. Try again. There you go.
Wow. Thank you so much. It was really an eye-opener for all of us. I can see my diasporas are all over here listening to you. Well done. And yes, we can only say it's now. It's either you do it now, we have to invest ourselves, create wealth for ourselves and our family. And yes, and the best vehicle to use right now is Centonomy, right? You can help us with training us and how to do this the right way, especially for the diaspora. I really looking forward to also our partnering projects there that you have been sharing with us. And I've learned a lot from all the guests who have been speaking here today. And yes, let's include diaspora on the table as well. I can see there's a lot we can also share as well. Yeah, thank you.
Everyone is just giving a big thumbs up. Amani, parting shot.
I would like to say just one thing. I think I'm a basketball fan, and Michael Jordan once said, "We miss 100% of the shots we didn't take." So it's up to you.
Take the shot. I did. You're too young to know Michael Jordan. I don't know how you knew that. That was from my days. Hence the hairstyle. Barbra, parting shot.
Well, all I can say is that we need to be in charge of our finances now more than ever before because of the pandemic and the situation and how things have changed. Okay, you look at being financially free, look at being financially secure, track your, be in charge of your finances, and everything will be perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Centonomy, for organizing such very productive, very informative things, webinars. I hope we'll continue to see more of these as we go by. Thank you.
For sure. Philbert, parting thought, shot. Is Philbert there? I think you're, sorry, I must have muted you. Go ahead again.
Thanks, Waithaka, for that. Thank you for the opportunity. I think I want to encourage the listeners to just be cautious, take care of yourselves during this time, and take an opportunity to see what it is that you can do to grow your cash reserves, even as we go through this financial depression.
I'm telling you, keep washing your hands, keep your physical distance, not social distance, keep talking to one another, keep a physical distance, wash your hands, but keep your mind alert, like Philbert told us, keep that energy moving forward. It's gonna make a huge difference across the board. You all have been amazing. Everyone who's been listening and commenting, you're brilliant. Thank you for spending the time with us. May God bless you as we go, and let's keep growing with one another. Let's see everyone in class in September. It'll be a true pleasure to have you there. God bless you all.